TikTok may have launched in 2016, but it wasted no time in becoming a global phenomenon. By 2020, the app had already amassed over 1 billion users, cementing itself as a cultural powerhouse. Its rapid rise was unprecedented. Never before had a social media app taken over the world in such a short period of time, setting the stage for a new era of digital culture, trends, and beauty standards. The app didn't just offer a platform for entertainment. It became a breeding ground for viral trends that reached across continents, impacting everything from fashion to music to beauty ideals and identity. One of the most significant shifts we have seen on TikTok is how it has shaped and reshaped our perceptions of beauty. Unlike traditional social media platforms that emphasize polished images, TikTok's raw, unfiltered content allowed for new beauty narratives to take root. The app became an incubator for countless trends that redefined what it meant to be beautiful, often at breakneck speed, where the beauty standard could change with a swipe of your thumb. From the rise of the bold and edgy e-girl aesthetic that embraced colorful hair and exaggerated makeup, to the minimalist clean girl look that championed dewy skin and subtle elegance, TikTok has been instrumental in revolutionizing beauty standards over the past 4 years. What was considered aspirational in 2020 is vastly different from what we see today, influenced by an ever-evolving mix of viral challenges, transformative filters like the inverted face filter, and influencer culture as a whole. These shifts have not only influenced the way people see themselves online, but also how they perceive themselves in real life. TikTok's ability to set and reset beauty standards speaks to its power as a cultural tastemaker. Its users have collectively molded the image of what beauty should look like, giving rise to different viral trends like the e-girl, clean girl, Ozempic even. And this all raises important questions about the dangers of idealizing certain looks. In this video, we're going to explore the interesting and often problematic evolution of beauty standards on TikTok from 2020 to 2024. We'll delve into the trends that define each year, talk about some key influencers who popularized these looks, and the cultural shifts that have shaped what beauty means in the digital age. So buckle up as we take a journey through TikTok's influence on beauty, one that's often entertaining and somewhat troubling, but always reflective of the times we live in. Let's get into it. Yeah. But before we get into today's video, I have to ask you a question. Are you tired of all of these ads just taking up space on your phone or your computer? And I know it's kind of ironic that I asked that because this is an ad, but just hear me out. If random ads are constantly distracting you from your favorite videos or articles, then today's sponsor, Pi, has got you covered. So Pi is an ad blocker Chrome extension that lets you take back control over your online experience. It blocks ads, protects your privacy, and even helps you save money. And unlike most ad blockers, Pi actually rewards you. You can choose to see the ads that you actually approve of and earn a share of the ad revenue in return. Pi also has a shopping companion extension and a cashback program. And this allows you guys to shop smarter and save even more without dealing with all of these disruptive ads. The ultimate goal is to shift the balance of the internet economy, giving users like yourself more control and more benefits over the ads you choose to see. So when I'm doing research for one of my videos, just like the one you are watching right now, I have to read a lot of articles and just, a lot of random stuff I gotta read so I can actually formulate a proper opinion. But a lot of these ads are just distracting, or it just takes up too much space. It makes like the whole website look super cluttered, or sometimes the ads are just something that I don't want to see. So it's really annoying to have ads all over the page when I'm just trying to read something, you know what I'm saying? But when I use Pi, the websites automatically look super clean, the ads vanish, and it's just a very clean website. It's not too cluttered, and also makes the research happen faster, which in turn makes me film faster and get these videos out faster for you, so period. So shout out to Pi. So if you are interested in blocking ads, which I'm sure you are, and also getting rewards in return, check out Pi. You can check out the link pi.org/nksworld to install Pi today. It will be down in the description box below and also the pinned comment. Thank you to Pi for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into this video, child. Part 1. 2020 to 2021. From e-girls to clean girls. TikTok's journey through 2020 and 2021 marked the emergence of two strikingly different beauty trends, each representing the diverse cultural forces at play during those years. In 2020, the app was dominated by the rise of the e-girl aesthetic, a bold, edgy, and somewhat rebellious look that drew inspiration from gaming culture, anime, and early 2000s emo styles. This aesthetic, characterized by colorful hair, dramatic eyeliner, and an abundance of accessories, became became a statement of individuality and defiance against conventional beauty norms. But as the pandemic lingered into 2021, we saw a shift towards something softer and more minimalist, the clean girl look. This trend embraced fresh skin, light makeup, and an effortlessly put together appearance, reflecting a desire for simplicity and control amidst the chaos of the world. So in this section, we'll take a closer look at how these two aesthetics capture the imaginations of millions, why they rose to prominence, and what they reveal about the shifting desires of TikTok's audience during this transformative period. Let's get into it, TikTok started popping off at such a strange and uncertain time in all of our lives, which is why I believe it was able to grow as quickly as it did. During the pandemic and the lockdowns, we were forced to stay at home. We could not leave our houses unless it was for an essential reason because we were trying to, stop the spread of COVID-19. With the sudden lack of in-person interaction, our phones became our primary link to our friends and loved ones. People turned to social media not only to stay connected, but also to cope with the isolation and also pass time. And TikTok quickly became the go-to platform for creativity, entertainment, and if you wanted to get a good laugh, go to TikTok. The app's short and engaging videos were the perfect escape during those long, boring days, and TikTok's powerful algorithm ensured that users were constantly entertained with content that matched their interests. This combination of convenience, personalization, and community was what drove TikTok's rapid growth, transforming it from a rising platform to a cultural phenomenon during such a challenging period for all of us. It's so nostalgic to look back, even though 2020 was only 4 years ago. So realistically, it's not that long ago, but it just feels like it's been 20 years. You know what I mean? Whenever I think of Renegade, it just brings back so much memories. So it's good memories. It is good, I won't lie. TikTok during the pandemic was kind of lit, not gonna lie. So as we explore how beauty standards on TikTok evolved during this time, we're not just looking at changing trends, we're revisiting an emotional roller coaster that defined our experiences during the pandemic and beyond. So let's get into it, In 2020, we saw the explosion of the e-girl aesthetic. And this trend wasn't just about beauty, it was also about identity. It was characterized by vivid and unnatural hair colors like lime green, pastel pinks, or think half and half dyed hairstyles. The makeup was equally dramatic with sharp winged eyeliner, blush across the nose and cheeks, and sometimes tiny hearts drawn under the eyes. So this aesthetic represented a sense of rebellion and a desire to break away from mainstream beauty ideals. During a year of lockdowns and global upheaval, the e-girl trend gave many young people a creative outlet, a way to assert control over their appearance while stuck at home, isolated from the outside world. In a way, it was a reclamation of power. It was a chance to express individuality even though life felt restricted. I never gravitated towards this trend because I was a bit late to the TikTok trend. I was being stubborn when TikTok first blew up. I was not trying to go on the app immediately, but eventually I went on it, then I loved it, but whatever. So I never really gravitated towards it. Plus, it's not really my style, so I was like, I'ma skip. But I did see a lot of e-girls and e-boys on my For You page during early 2020, 2021-ish, but mostly 2020. So Dick Hebditch, who is an American sociologist, he wrote Subculture, The Meaning of Style, in which he explored punks, mods, and teddy boys of 1960s and 70s London. So he argued that their distinctive styles were a form of political rebellion tied to their socio-economic backgrounds. For Hebditch, these subcultures used fashion as a means of protest. For example, the mods, they exaggerated the collar, suit, and tie attire to absurd levels to challenge middle-class values, while punks adorned themselves in chains and disheveled clothing to express their dissatisfaction with society. In contrast, the e-girl and e-boy subcultures represented a new type of rebellion, one that was primarily rooted in the digital landscape. Unlike punks or mods whose statements were made in public spaces, e-girls and e-boys crafted their identity online. So these digital personas subverted traditional beauty standards by embracing an exaggerated, almost hyper-real sense of individuality that was performative and deeply tied to the online space. So rather than rejecting societal norms in physical spaces, e-girls and e-boys expressed their individuality by creating curated, distinct, and often ironic digital identities that thrived on platforms like TikTok. So the e-girl and e-boy aesthetic is basically just online, which makes sense because we had to stay our asses at home. During the pandemic, we could not leave. We had to be satted. Well, we could stand up, but you had to be in your house basically. So it does make sense why the e-girl and e-boy aesthetic blew up and existed primarily online because we were forced to stay home. But a lot of people feel like it was very performative. People did not actually embrace the values or the culture of the anime or emos 2000. They they didn't really embrace it. They just saw that being an e-girl was trendy, so they hopped on it and that was it. So that is a huge criticism of the e-girl, e-boy aesthetic. So even though people are hating on the e-girl aesthetic, hate to break it to you, but I feel like we are moving towards this in society. We are moving towards a more digital online society, and that's just how it is. Like, do y'all see how quickly AI is developing? AI is still developing, but if you are paying attention to it, it is becoming better and better each and every day. AI has gotten so good to the point where on YouTube, now we have to disclose if we have AR in our video because y'all cannot tell the difference. It is crazy. And this reminds me of a conversation I was having with my friend the other day about AI, and he was telling me about this app called Character AI. Not sure if you have heard about it, but it's basically an AI that can replicate other people's voices, and you can have full-on conversations with this AI robot. And it sounds super realistic. You can be talking to Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna. You could be talking to them because it sounds so realistic. It has their accent down to the T, so it feels like you're having an authentic conversation with them. So in Character AI, they have different types of themes, and some of them are more concerning. They have themes of boyfriend and girlfriends. So basically, you can chat with an AI robot as if they're your partner, and because they sound so realistic, people can start forming connections with these robots instead of actual humans. So it's a bit unsettling, to be honest. I honestly think that AI is fascinating and it can help us in the future to make our lives easier. However, when it starts to blur the lines of genuine human connection, that's when I gotta draw the line. That's some weirdish. But I just wanted to bring up this app because it does highlight how we are moving towards a more digital era, hence the e-girl and e-boy aesthetic. I just feel like we're entering a world where digital personas hold as much weight, if not more, than our real life identities. And that's something definitely to think about. So for this aesthetic, their choices were influenced by the internet's fragmented nature and served as both self-expression and a strategy to gain online visibility. They balance authenticity with self-objectification and editing apps to create images and videos that captured people's attention. Because let's be honest, attention is the currency of the internet. When TikTok first popped off, people were doing anything to get views. And I mean anything. Like they were just being cringy, weird, stupid challenges, just like doing dumb shit just to get views because it was seen as so easy to get views, go viral, and start your social media career. But I feel like if you started TikTok earlier, then you were one of the first ones who was getting your content pushed out, so you had it easier. But now I do feel like TikTok is quite saturated, but it's not impossible to grow, but just to stand out and to have a community that keeps coming back to your content, I feel like that's hard on TikTok. But yeah, a lot of things on TikTok are meant to get attention because people love that ish. They love attention. And I'm not saying everyone who participated in the e-girl aesthetic was doing it for attention, but I think it is fair to assume that just because during the 2020s, the aesthetic was super popular, so people were blowing up by looking like an e-girl. But even though beauty trends and standards like the e-girl aesthetic have changed on TikTok, the desperate need for views still remains the same on that app. People just be doing anything to get views nowadays, and we can tell, like, y'all really out here embarrassing yourself just to get views. Can never be me. And I also feel like self-objectification always comes up in my videos because A, it's interesting to me, and B, it's also very much prevalent. Because with the e-girl aesthetic, a lot of girls would do silly or cringe faces that would make them look innocent, cute, or for lack of a better word, dumb, like kind of like childlike, while wearing provocative clothing. This is not everyone, but I have seen it on TikTok. That was kind of like the recipe to go viral, you know what I mean? Just like, you know what I mean? But I can't hate them because it did work and they went viral and a lot of them have careers out of it. But I mean, I will side eye though if they're acting like a kid too much. Like, you know, if they be trying to infantilize themselves a little too much, then I'm like, pause. But for the most part, I can't hate the player, but I can hate the game. But anyways, we're not gonna get too much into that. But the e-girl and e-boy personas created a fascinating disconnect between the individuals and their audience. It allowed them to lean into self-parody while still showcasing these idealized versions of themselves online. So this mix of playfulness and performance added depth to their online presence, making it clear that they were aware of the absurdity and some of the beauty standards that they played with. Well, at least I hope so, because some of the things they were doing were just absolutely cringy. So I'm like, please, I hope you're intentionally trying to be cringy, like you're not actually doing this, but you never know with TikTok. And this duality reflects a complex relationship with authenticity, where they navigated between being genuine and performing for the online gaze. It's this unique balancing act that kept viewers engaged while also making them think about the pressures and expectations of online life, especially on TikTok. Aaliyah's interlude really comes to mind when I think about this. She's an American influencer and rapper who grew to prominence on TikTok, and she's known for her distinctive style. What she wears isn't really practical for everyday life, but people still flock to her for her unique aesthetic and the confidence that she exudes. And this shows how powerful fashion can be as a form of self-expression, even if it defies conventional norms. Aaliyah's ability to embrace her style, despite its impracticality, mirrors that of the e-girls and e-boys, creating a space where individuality shines through in a world that often prioritizes conformity. So this whole new subculture raised essential questions about what it means to be authentic in the digital age, which is valid because we are entering a more digital society. That's just how it is. Dick Hebage argued that subcultural style was all about pushing back against mainstream culture and asserting an alternative identity based on social conditions. However, e-girls and e-boys didn't fit into a single cohesive group like previous subcultures did. Instead, they were connected through their digital presence and the aesthetics that they displayed online. Their form of rebellion wasn't aimed at societal norms in a traditional sense. Instead, it revolved around resisting the pressures of real life by creating idealized and performative versions of themselves. So this shift raised important questions about how people defined authenticity at that time and how these digital personas could reflect and distort individual identity. A lot of concerns were popping up, but let's see what you guys had to say about this. So over on Instagram, I asked you guys a couple questions about this topic, and I'm gonna sprinkle the questions throughout today's video, so stay tuned for a question. Who knows, your answer might be in this video, period. But anyways, the first question I asked was, are you more drawn to authenticity or aesthetics in online personas? So based on the poll results, it's clear that most of you guys lean towards a balance of both, as 58% of you guys did say that you prefer a mix of both, which makes sense because we like to see people who are genuine but also put in effort into their presentation, because in the end of the day, we like pretty things and pretty people, and that's how it is. But 35% of you guys said authenticity all the way, which shows that even in this social media world, people still crave authenticity and they want genuineness and they want real. They're tired of all this curated images online. So then 3% said aesthetics are important, and aesthetics are important online, but is it the most important? I don't know about it, but to each their own. And then 4% said you don't care about either, so y'all just unbothered, so period, as you should. Then the next question I asked was, how do you view the balance between real life and an online persona? So the poll results showed that most people lean towards keeping a bit of distance between their online persona and who they actually are in person, as 70% of you guys did say that a little separation is healthy. This makes sense because putting every single detail of your life out there on the internet can be overwhelming, because you're subjecting yourself to criticism on every single area of your life, and also it's pretty unsafe too, so let's not be doing it. Having that separation helps you maintain control over what stays private and what you share, which is very important for your mental health, so I do understand that. I show y'all myself, but like, you don't know everything about me. You know, I'm kind of mysterious, you know what I mean? So I do that to protect myself, just like, you know, I don't want all my business out there, but I feel like one day it might happen, so it is what it is. But as of now, let me control what y'all know about me, period. But 16% of you guys said, nah, it should be the same. Your online persona and who you are in real life should be the same. That's what y'all think. I can see why you say that, because you're like, yo, we just want authenticity. We don't want no fake stuff. So I can see where you guys are coming from. Only 3% said online persona is more important. So you guys are probably the ones who'd be like, no matter how ghetto my life is right now, as long as I look good online, I'm blessed. If you're going through ish, you're not going to post it online, of course. So, I mean, I wouldn't. So I get that. So I can kind of see that in a sense, maybe. But it just depends on the context of the situation. Because let's say, I don't know, you're going through a rough breakup or whatever, so you don't want to mention it online. Yeah, don't mention it. But there's some people who you go on their page, you think they're millionaires because they present themselves in this way. Then you see them on the bus the other day, dripped in designer. It's like, does that make sense? I know shade to the bus, because I still take the bus to this day. But it's just like seeing someone head to toe in designer on the bus is kind of just odd, because you're like, I feel like you don't have your priorities straight. But you know what? To each their own. Then 11% of you guys said they should be totally different. And I do see where you're coming from. You guys see the online persona as like a brand or a character completely separate of who that person is. It's something that is created to be marketable or entertaining, while their true self is, I don't know, hidden. When I think of that, I kind of think of Beyonce, because when she performs, like she's like showing emotion, but like her true self, like we really don't know who Beyonce is. I mean, like maybe back in the day, but she's been pretty silent ever since 2013-ish. We know her, we know the brand, but like you don't know her. Yeah, and I do feel like it's a mental health thing, because when people criticize your brand, it's one thing, but when they're criticizing you, that's a whole other ballpark. So I feel like that kind of creates like a barrier for yourself. Like, okay, like when they criticize me, I can't take it to heart because it's my character. It's not exactly who I am. So that's how I see it, but let me know your thoughts. And thank you guys for answering these questions. We have more coming up, so don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. But speaking of online personas, when I think of e-girls, I think of Bella Poarch and Desi. Is her name Desi? I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm gonna put her on the screen so you know who I'm talking about though. But I have noticed that Bella doesn't embody that e-girl aesthetic anymore, which, you know, does make sense. She has like almost 100 million followers on TikTok. So whenever she posts, her fans are gonna watch, they're gonna comment, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna support her. So she doesn't really need to embrace it anymore to stay relevant. And on the other hand, Desi is still putting out some e-girl content. I did see her videos on my For You page a lot, I think in like 2020, 2021, and she does have less followers than Bella, but she still has like I think 6 million, so definitely a lot, but maybe not to the point where she could post whatever and still get like millions of views on videos. And then when I think of e-boy, I think of Chase Hudson, or Huddy as they call him, but he's like the first e-boy to pop into my head. And it's just funny because I remember his earlier content just being so cringe. I was like, what is this? Like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, it was just so cringy, but y'all still ate it up every single time. He was popular for being in a relationship with Charli D'Amelio, and they were literally considered TikTok royalty at that time. Chase's most watched videos are with Charli, so period, you know, that's how be woman, we be leading stuff. You know what I mean? They would get tens of millions of views on their videos of them just lip syncing or dancing or just cuddling, so people were really invested into their relationship. Chase posted a lot of lip syncing and dance videos, and TikTok loved it. And he did this when TikTok was still growing as an app, so he grew with the app as well. His charisma and willingness to lean into that e-boy aesthetic attracted millions of viewers and established him as one of TikTok's breakout stars. Even though some of us may question how the hell he became famous or made fun of how cringe his content was, he is the one who is laughing now because he has got his bag by being cringy. To this day, I wish that I sucked up my pride and I just, you know, started doing those stupid renegade dances, because who knows, maybe I would have been a TikToker right now. You know, I should have just done that, but no, I decided to be bougie and not do it. Like... So to wrap it up, the e-girl aesthetic existed primarily online. In 2020, it was a prominent aesthetic on TikTok, and who knows, maybe even you participated in it when it was the hype. So if you did, period, tell us your experience about being an e-girl or e-boy or whatever. And the most popular influencers in 2020 was Charli D'Amelio, Addison Rae, Lauren Gray, Bella Poarch. I feel like I'm missing some other people. Well, also Chase Hudson, Noah Beck, and there were a lot of other famous people on TikTok during 2020, but these were the TikTok breakout stars, like the people who were associated with Hype House, like they were the breakout stars of TikTok, and they were able to grow beyond TikTok. It was interesting who TikTok chose to blow up because it was very much lacking diversity, but we'll talk about that later. Before we move on to 2021, I just want to quickly mention that Euphoria inspired looks were popping off around this time as well. So if you don't know, Euphoria is an American television series created by Sam Levinson, and it aired on HBO. It debuted in 2019, and it follows the lives of high school students as they navigate issues like identity, trauma, addiction, love, and friendships. Euphoria is known for its raw and intense portrayal of teen life, tackling challenging topics with a unique stylized visual approach, as well as its use of bold cinematography, dramatic lighting, and a powerful soundtrack. And it has received critical acclaim for its performances. It's a super popular show. I don't know if we're gonna get season 3, and the distinct fashion and makeup choices that these characters chose to wear, this inspired millions of people on TikTok to emulate. So this was another monumental beauty trend on TikTok in 2020. Anywho, by 2021, the pandemic was still there, but the lockdown started to lift a little bit. Well, honestly, it was on and off. So like one second they would lift it, then the next second they're extending it. So we were still at home for the most part. But since we were home basically every single day, a lot of us just stopped wearing makeup. I know at the start of the pandemic, I was wearing makeup every day. I was just practicing my makeup skills and just also using it to pass time. And it was really fun at first, but after a while, I just kind of got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And I just hated that my makeup would slay and then no one could see it. Cause like, yeah, like obviously I like doing makeup for myself and seeing that transformation, but I was like, y'all need to see it. Like I wanted people to see my makeup. So I got to a point where I was tired of wearing makeup and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm wasting these expensive products and no one's seeing the makeup. So I'm gonna just chill for now. I know I wasn't the only one who was tired of wearing makeup, because around this time, the clean girl aesthetic, which is similar to the glass glass skin and the skinimalism trend, it started to pop off in 2021. Skinimalism is a beauty trend that emphasizes minimalism in skincare and makeup routines, focusing on embracing one's natural skin rather than using heavy coverage or an abundance of products. And this term is a blend of skin and minimalism. This trend encourages people to use fewer products, opting for multifunctional items that nourish the skin while reducing the clutter of an extensive skincare routine. My daily skincare routine is pretty chill, to be honest. It's very basic, just the same old, but once a week or every 2 weeks I do my extensive stuff, so I guess I do practice skinimalism in a sense. But the idea behind skinimalism is to prioritize healthy, glowing skin over hiding imperfections. So it's about celebrating natural beauty and achieving a more sustainable approach to skincare. But the problem with this trend, and this is a problem with a lot of these, natural trends, is that you have to be pretty for it to work. You have to have the desired face shape, eyes, nose, lips, skin texture. Like, you have to have that, not in life, but like online. Like, if you want to be a skinimalism girl, you have to be pretty to grow on TikTok. That's just how it is. And it's annoying because, some of us just need extra reinforcements, but they're like, no, just be natural. Like, girl, F you and your natural self. I'm joking. I'm not exactly sure who popularized this trend, but it seems like minimalism in skincare wasn't just popularized by one individual, it was popularized by different people and different influences. For example, in 2021, Squid Game was released on Netflix, and this show took over the internet. It was insanely popular. And I believe season 2 is being released in December, so I am super excited for that.
Calm down, Jamal.
But yeah, anyways, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, which have you been living under a rock if you don't know what I'm talking about. But Squid Game is a South Korean survival drama, and it premiered on Netflix in September 2021, and it quickly became one of the platform's most watched series. The storyline follows a group of individuals drowning in debt, who are invited to participate in a series of children's games for a chance to win a life-changing cash prize, with the terrifying catch that if you lose, you die. It was a lot, but I really did like the overall meaning of the show, so I would definitely watch it again, and I'm really excited for how they're gonna go about season 2. And one character that captured the attention of many was Kang Seok-byung. I hope I said that right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said it right. I think so, period. And this character was portrayed by the stunning Ho Young-chung. Many TikTok creators began emulating her look by emphasizing features like gaunt eye bags, a glowy sheen, faux freckles, and even injuries, to be honest. So her character was known for her beauty, radiant skin, and minimal makeup, which likely inspired people to strive for a more natural appearance around this time. And to achieve that effortless glowy look, skincare became an essential. You had to have a on-point skincare and also good genetics to have that radiant, dewy, glass skin type look. And that glass skin trend look did take off from South Korean beauty culture, and it focuses on achieving a radiant, flawless complexion that resembles smooth glass. It became super popular in the West in the late 2010s and early 2020s, especially on social media, where beauty enthusiasts shared their routines for that sought-after luminous glow. Key elements of glass skin include intense hydration, often layering products like serums and creams so that your skin can absorb it and just be very much hydrated. It also includes regular exfoliation to keep the skin smooth and strategic highlighting to enhance that dewy look. So instead of heavy makeup, the trend promotes a no makeup vibe. But it also sparks debates about unrealistic beauty standards and the pressure to overconsume products to achieve this ideal. Because in my opinion, less is really more, especially when it comes to skincare. I don't believe that you need like 10,000 different serums. I feel like if you actually have less products, you can see what works and what doesn't work, and then you're like, boom, okay, my skincare routine, I'm gonna stick to it. You know how people be like using like crazy amounts of like lotion or serums or a toner on their face? I do feel like it's just for the aesthetic. To me, it's wasting product, but I know it's for the aesthetic of the video. And on top of this though, the glass skin trend is really just reserved for people who already have clear skin, good, smooth, like a baby's bottom skin. It's reserved for them, because if you search up glass skin, you're not gonna see someone who's dealing with acne or whatever. You're gonna see someone who has glass skin, already has like soft skin. And 9 times out of 10, it's really just genetics. It's not that they're doing this 10,000 step skincare routine to make them have that smooth skin. It's because it's genetic, so they already had that nice skin. Like, girl, you're not fooling no one. And this has been a major criticism of the clean girl aesthetic. This trend emphasizes a fresh and minimalist beauty vibe that gives off, we woke up like this, I woke up like this. Shout out to Beyonce, even though they're saying that she knows. So this This aesthetic is all about making your beauty routine seem effortless, even though it's a bit of a challenge to actually achieve this look. Key elements include slicked back hair in a low bun or ponytail, natural and dewy skin, and minimal makeup featuring neutral tones, fluffy eyebrows, and glossy lips. The fashion side focuses on neutral basics and high quality fabric, often in matching sets or baggy jeans. So even though the clean girl aesthetic popped up in 2021, and I would say it's still pretty popular now, it has faced a lot of criticism because it is deeply rooted in styles that was historically embraced by Black and brown women way before it became mainstream. Elements like hoop earrings and slicked back hairstyles carry significant cultural importance, representing identity and resistance within these communities. Despite appearing harmless, the trend has sparked conversations about cultural appropriation, as many are frustrated by the lack of recognition for the original creators of these styles. A clear example of this is Hailey Bieber's brownie glazed lips, which many pointed out was a long-standing trend among Latinx women in the 90s, but received newfound attention when promoted by a white influencer. And the clean girl aesthetic also promotes harmful notions regarding skin conditions, implying that only those with clear skin are clean. This message can be degrading to individuals who struggle with acne, which is a complex issue with various causes such as genetics, hormones, stress, or environmental factors. It's essential to acknowledge and respect the cultural origins of these trends and challenge exclusionary beauty ideals. Because when people created the name, the brownie glazed lips or whatever, I was like, what is this? Like, huh? I've been seeing this because I've been doing this since time. We've seen this time and time again where a style is historically related to, let's say, the Black community or a different community, but then white influencers or celebrities take it and then repackage it into something and then make it like, oh, you know, it's us, like it's this thing, but no, it's not. We know the origins. You know, like they try to do that with the Kim Kardashian wearing those Fulani braids or tribal braids or whatever. I think they called it what did they call it? The boho derrick? They were trying to call it the Kim Kardashian braids or boho derrick or whatever. And I'm like, no, like that is Fulani. That's Fulani braids. Thank you very much. Don't try that. But honestly, it's annoying, but I'm just very glad that people are quick to point it out. Like when the Hailey Bieber lips thingy went viral, people were quick. They were quick to clock that. They're like, nope, you did not create this. Black and brown women been doing this. Like, don't start. So I'm really happy that people like shut it down immediately. It's important to recognize where these styles are actually coming from, because acknowledging the true roots can help create a more inclusive beauty landscape that respects diverse cultural influences. But honestly, none of the trends that TikTok has popularized have been unique. All TikTok does is they take these old trends and they repackage it and then push it out to the mainstream like it's new and it's revolutionary. But in reality, it's just the same old stuff, but just they gave it a new name. I talked about this in my video, You Hate Your Life Because You're Trying to Be an Aesthetic. So the clean girl aesthetic isn't just about beauty. It's a problem about cultural appropriation and representation, which is a problem that TikTok keeps on fueling. So even though there are other trends that are popping off on TikTok in 2020 and 2021, I wanted to mostly focus on these two because they really reflected the times that we were living in. The early TikTok era feels nostalgic now, but it definitely had its issues, especially with the platform only promoting white, slim women. And a lot of these influencers were just teenagers too, if you think about it. Like Charlie, who at one point was the most followed person on TikTok, and she was also part of the Hype House too, like during its early days. If you don't know, the Hype House was a collective of TikTok influencers who all lived in this big mansion in LA. So it started at the end of 2019 and became this massive symbol of early TikTok culture. So it had big names like Charli D'Amelio, Dixie D'Amelio, Addison Rae, and Chase Hudson, aka Lil Huddy, and they were all living together, making content and collaborating on things to grow their following. So they were all about those viral TikTok dances and challenges, and they also got so huge to the point that they had their own Netflix show in 2022 showing the behind the scenes drama, you know what I mean? I never watched it though, because I was not gonna watch it, but they had it. But while the Hype House was a big deal and it was considered iconic and a lot of people paid attention to them, they did face a lot of criticism. One being that it mostly just featured young, white, and conventionally attractive influencers. And this really showed how TikTok was really only pushing one type of creator back then. And they still are now, like it has gotten better, but we'll talk about that later. As time went on though, the original members started leaving the Hype House and they started going beyond TikTok, like Charlie, Addison, Dixie, they started doing their own own thing, and the hype house started to lose its relevance because people were just not really checking for them anymore. It was fun and iconic for a while, but honestly it had its own share of problems, and I still question to this day why they're all famous, but here we are. But anyways, let's move on to the next couple of years on TikTok. Part 2, 2022 to 2023, the glow up era, body positivity, and the perfect face obsession. As we dive into the years 2022 and 2023, we enter a transformative phase in the TikTok beauty landscape, characterized by the glow up era. This period saw an explosion of body positivity movements where influencers and users celebrated diverse body types and embraced self-love. However, alongside this uplifting narrative emerged an obsession with achieving the perfect face, fueled by filters, cosmetic trends, and beauty standards that often contradicted the body positivity message. In this section, we'll explore the dynamics of these trends, their impact on self-image, and the ongoing conversations about representation and authenticity in the beauty world. So let's get into it. Yeah. A lot of trends that gained traction in 2021, like the clean girl aesthetic, continued to thrive in 2022, despite facing some backlash. Hailey Bieber became a prominent figure representing this trend, and she was often seen showcasing the clean girl look through her social media posts and brand endorsements. So her influence definitely helped to keep the clean girl aesthetic alive and well during this period. I do know she has her own skincare line, but honestly, I don't trust these celebrity skincare lines because they had clear skin before they started the line. So it's giving like, you have clear skin, so you're trying to sell this product to say, hey, get skin like mine, when you always had clear skin because you had money to begin with. So who knows what type of extra treatments they're doing to make their skin clear. You know what I mean? There's too many celebrity brands, if we're being honest, at this point, so y'all need to wrap it up. Anyways, another trend that began to gain popularity in 2021 was the body positivity movement. During the pandemic, with the stay-at-home orders in full swing, many of us turned to food for comfort since we were cooped up at home. I tried to learn how to cook during the lockdown, but it did not go as planned. I was doing a lot of Uber Eats during the pandemic, so not proud of that, but yes, I was eating way more than I should have been. But by 2022, these lockdown restrictions started to ease up for good. It wasn't like 2021 when it was back and forth, it was for good. Anyways, after a year of endless snacking and baking during quarantine, body image discussions came roaring back as the world started to open up. During this time, a lot of creators on TikTok began talking about body positivity, challenging those old school beauty standards. And when I think of body positivity, I think of Remy Bader, Lizzo, and Sienna May, as they have all played significant roles in reshaping the discussions about body image on social media. However, there has been some controversy with Sienna May, who at one point was the face of body positivity on TikTok for sure. A lot of people thought that she wasn't a good fit to be the face of body positivity because she was already desirable and she was slim. So a major critique I saw was that Sienna had to contort her body and move her body into these different positions to show that she had some, like she had a fupa or she had whatever. So she had to do these to show that she had a stomach. While there are people who don't have to do that. There are people who just stand up normally and they already have a stomach. So a lot of people thought that Sienna wasn't a good fit to be the face of body positivity because she was already desirable and she was still slim. But she posted a clip of her stomach after eating, and a lot of people critiqued her. They're like, hey, you're already slim, you have a really good physique, so you should not be posting these type of stuff to make us feel better because we don't feel better because you already look good. Like that was a major critique I have been seeing surrounding Sienna. But despite Sienna's intentions, critics have pointed out that the body positivity movement often emphasizes specific body types while leaving others out. Lena Dunham actually made a great observation about this. So she said that mainstream body positivity tends to celebrate a narrow range of bodies, mostly those that fit traditional beauty standards with just a few variations. For example, you might see an influencer that is considered plus size, but because they have a slim face and also they have an hourglass figure, they're still pushed to the forefront because in the end of the day, they are still considered desirable, even though they might be considered plus size. So I never followed Sienna on TikTok, and honestly, I never really followed any of these influencers to begin with. But I never followed her, but I do understand this critique because it does make sense. She's very pretty, has a great physique, so it's like, should you really be the face of body positivity when you're already considered desirable? So I don't blame people for pointing that out. Even if she claims that she never intended to be the face, the fact remains that her relatable videos about her body got a lot of attention. She fits the mold of what society deems pretty and slim, which made her an easy pick for that role in the movement to be the face of it. it, because I'm pretty positive that if she looked different, she would not be the face of body positivity. Well, I don't think people consider her the face now. I don't know if they still consider her. Do you consider her? Let me know. But when she was considered the face of body positivity, I don't think that she would have blew up that quickly on TikTok if she wasn't as attractive as she was. It's just giving that she was digestible for people to see, and that's why she was able to blow up so quickly and become the face of body positivity on TikTok. But also in 2021, I believe, Sienna did face some serious allegations, but we're not going to get into that. But I just wanted to mention that so you guys know I'm not like avoiding that or whatever, because that was also a big part of her social media career. If you want to read into it, I'm sure that there's a lot of videos or just articles about what was going on with Sienna. So as we moved out of quarantine, a lot had changed, including our perspective on our bodies. Social media started to help reshape how we think about our bodies, and many women on TikTok began celebrating the natural things our bodies do, showing that they should be seen as beautiful rather than anything to be ashamed of, especially since a lot of us, we were eating them food during the pandemic. So, some of us gained weight and it's natural, it's normal, but society makes you feel like a failure if you gain weight. So the body positivity movement kind of started popping up around that time. One of the standout trends was when two TikTokers filmed themselves dancing with their stomachs hanging out, and that video quickly went viral and other women started joining in and doing it themselves. So for many, it was a powerful opportunity to connect and embrace their bodies together. But anyways, let's see what you guys had to say on Instagram. So on Instagram, I asked, which body type do you think is most celebrated on social media? So looking at the poll results, it's very clear to see that slim with curves is the winner, with 79% of you voting for it. And then 8% of you guys were like athletic and toned bodies. And then another 8% was like plus size, but with an hourglass figure. And this shows a significant gap in how these body types are perceived and celebrated in online spaces. And then 5% of you was like all body types equally. And even though that should be how it is, it's not. I mean, I appreciate you guys for still participating in it, but I don't believe that. That's a bold-faced lie.
Stop the cap.
All body types on social media are definitely not celebrated. And will we ever get to that point? Maybe, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Not anytime soon, for sure. But I do agree with your guys' answer, how you said that the slim with curves is the T. Because yeah, I would say it's pretty trendy. Because we used to want big curves, but now it's giving like tone down the curves. You know what I mean? And I talked about this too in one of my, I forget which specific video, but one of them. Then I also asked, who do you think of when you hear body positivity? So 72% of you guys said Lizzo, and I feel like Lizzo is probably the most popular on this list, to be honest. And she has been able to resonate with a lot of people, so she's doing her thing, period. And yeah, I love Lizzo, so period. And then 14% said Sienna May, and this makes sense because she was super popular on TikTok during the body positivity movement. Like, she was everywhere. I would say when I thought of body positivity, I did think of her, but doesn't mean that she should necessarily be the face of body positivity. But I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Spencer Barbosa, because she's also another influential figure in the body positivity space. And Arbella, is that how you say your name, girl? Arbella? I think so. But Arbella mentioned her in my DM, so I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Though I totally forgot about her, but yeah, she definitely has been monumental in this whole space as well. Anyways, thanks for voting, but let's continue with the video. Let's move on to the next trend that was popping off in 2022, which is the glow up era. First off, let's talk about what glow up culture really was. So essentially, it was this trend where people would showcase their transformations, physically, mentally, or stylistically, often with dramatic before and after clips. So think of it as a highlight reel of someone's journey to looking better or more put together. TikTokers have been using hashtags like glow up, which has racked up an insane 44 billion views. So it's really all about celebrating change and becoming a better version of yourself, and basically mostly just looking better, looking more attractive. As I said before, during 2022, we were coming out of hibernation because these lockdown orders were finally lifted and we were able to go outside, other than it being for an essential reason. So while we were at home, some of us may have let ourselves go. We were just not looking that cute. I know I didn't look that cute during the pandemic. So when the lockdowns had finally lifted up, we were like, damn, we gotta glow up because we look crazy. So TikTok was really pushing that, which is just so interesting too, because it was pushing body positivity, but that started in like 2021 though, but it carried on until 2022. But yeah, anyways, in 2022, my For You page was full of a lot of glow up stuff. It had a bunch of healthy recipes, hot girl workouts, and clean makeup tutorials. There was a lot of tips on how to elevate yourself and how to be that girl. And it did work though. I would say I did slay, you know. I was able to take their tips and become a better version of myself. However, I had to do quite a bit of adjustments because they were asking for too much. They were asking for way too much. Like, they wanted me to cut off pizza. Like, ain't gonna happen, period. You know, y'all doing too much, chill. So the glow up trend predominantly featured young women who marketed their transformation journeys. These videos promised to guide viewers on how to physically enhance themselves, whether it was for a new year, summer, or even to make an ex jealous. Creators often mask their aesthetic focus under the guise of positivity, implying that as you become more beautiful, you also become happier and more confident. Yet this raises an important question. What happens to the ugly self that one leaves behind in the pursuit of beauty? The whole before and after transformation makes it seem like beauty is empowerment. But it also kind of suggests that your worth is tied to how you look, and that is a dangerous mindset to have, because your looks do not last forever. Even Victorian beauty manuals push the idea that being beautiful gave you power in society. And while these creators might mean well, constantly chasing beauty can get exhausting and it's often unattainable. It just leaves people stuck in a loop of never feeling good enough. Even though I do understand that looking good is important in different areas of your life, I would say, yeah, it does give you power in a sense, you know, like pretty privilege, like it gives you power in that sense. But in the end of the day, it shouldn't be the only thing that you're chasing in life, because you're just going to be focusing on the wrong things. A lot of people were voicing their concerns about glow up culture, and they were just saying that it's not realistic and it's not sustainable. These strict ass diets that they want you to go on, it's a lot. Like, girl, like chill. As I said, I'm not giving up pizza. So y'all need to figure out some way to make it more sustainable. It's one thing to feel motivated to better yourself, but it's another thing to feel pressure to conform into an ideal that most of us can't reach. Glow up content on TikTok definitely clashes with the ideas of body positivity and neutrality that was on the rise. While body positivity encourages us to love and accept ourselves just the way we are, glow up videos tend to draw a hard line between ugly and beautiful. It's almost like they're pushing back against self-acceptance, getting people to obsess over eliminating the so-called ugly habits that don't even really matter. And let's not ignore the fact that the beauty industry profits off of this obsession, promoting cosmetic procedures and selling this idea that it's justified as long as it makes you happy. Because they love to say that. They love to say, oh yeah, do this because it will make you happy. Do this because it will make you happy. Like, girl, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to gaslight me. It's not gonna work.
You cannot trick me. You cannot trick me!
But as I said, I do believe that there is something valuable in caring about how we look. Beauty routines can be a form of self-care or even self-expression. It's about finding a healthy way to embrace our appearance without falling into the trap of unrealistic expectations. There's something really nurturing about these practices. Just look at communal beauty traditions like braiding your hair. Even now, I love getting my hair braided, even though sometimes it'd be painful because they be pinching your hair. It's really just like a calming experience. It's like a tradition because I'm so used to it. Like when I was younger, I would always get my hair braided. It's like therapy in a way. Just the act of getting my hair braided and seeing the transformation, it makes me feel good. So that's why I like doing it. And that's why I say there is something beautiful with beauty routines. However, you just have to really find that balance. In the end, I want to believe that beauty practices can be acts of love and care, not just vanity. If we can find a healthier relationship with our looks and question our motivations, maybe we can redefine what it means to glow up, not just focusing on how we look, but on truly accepting ourselves for who we are. So if you have experienced a glow up or even a glow down, let me know your experience with it in the comments down below. I would say I experienced like 2 glow ups, one in high school, then one after the pandemic. So piggybacking off the obsession with glowing up, a lot of y'all were also obsessed with the perfect face. Y'all were obsessed with having a perfectly symmetrical face. Y'all need to chill. If you are on TikTok in 2021, I am sure you've heard of TikTok's inverted filter. It became popular in April 2021, but still carried on until 2022. So that's why I'm putting it into this section. The inverted filter didn't actually change your features. It just flipped your face, which made people believe that they were seeing what others see when they look at them. So the idea is that when we look in a regular mirror, we're seeing a reversed image, essentially not how the world actually views us. So the flipped version supposedly shows the real you, which can be unsettling because we are so used to seeing our mirrored reflection. So I hope that little explanation made sense. That's why when you see your face flipped, you're like, who am I? It's because we don't see ourselves flipped. Like, because when we look in the mirror, it's not flipped. Do you know what I mean? That's some science for you if you didn't know. So the inverted filter quickly became this weird unofficial test of beauty. So if your face looked the same in both directions, that means you were beautiful. Very problematic, but okay. So naturally, almost no one passed and everyone else spiraled. I watched countless videos of people flipping their faces back and forth, panicking over minor asymmetries. Some people were full on crying because the filter was making them feel ugly. I actually tried this filter myself, and honestly, the results didn't make me mad. I was like, like, I'm cute, period.
You cannot trick me. You cannot trick me.
Yeah, I didn't really care about it. And yeah, you shouldn't either. Don't let TikTok make you feel ugly, because in the end of the day, TikTok should just make you laugh. That's it. But also it makes a lot of us cry too. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but period. So the inverted filter also became popular around this time, as it was an important part of the Deja Vu challenge, where people would use the filter to sync with Olivia Rodrigo's song Deja Vu. So the top videos of this challenge have millions of views, with some users celebrating how they look and others crying over their reflection. One girl wrote, "Pretty privilege is being able to do this trend without bursting into tears." So yeah, the comments of these videos were people freaking out. They're just not used to seeing themselves flipped. That's really it. So they thought that they looked ugly, but in reality, they did not. You know those effects where you can like make your face like symmetrical? Don't you always look weird? So why would you want that for your face? You know what I mean? You guys need to reevaluate what you find beautiful, because symmetry does not mean beautiful. But I do get it though. Like, all jokes aside, I do know that filters like this can really mess with your confidence if you're already not super confident to begin with, or even if you're younger. But actually no, even if you're older too, like, these filters can affect anyone at any age. Some people do joke about it, but the insecurity is real. Like, a lot of us use humor to cope with our insecurities and just like traumas and all that, because I mean, I do that too. So I understand, but it's real. Instagram is all about Photoshop and filters, and everyone competes to post the most flawless picture. And that's exactly why I stopped trying to be an Instagram baddie about like 2 years ago-ish, 1 year ago. Girl, I was tired. Just to honestly do my hair, do my makeup, find an outfit, then drive to a location, get the photos, edit the photos. Like, oh my God, it was way too much work. So I've definitely retired from trying to be an IG baddie. It's just all about how you look, and girl, I have so much more to offer than just how I look. So that's how I was like, yeah, let me stop this. I'm very happy that it didn't take off, because I would have been stuck doing it. But TikTok, on the other hand, felt more laid back. Like, you would see people in their bonnets just chilling on their bed talking about something, and the video would still go viral. So it had that laid back sense. However, it also had that, you know, done up, beautiful, I'm amazing, I look like a model naturally space on TikTok too. So both definitely did coexist, but the ones who were pretty were the ones who would break out and like, you know, get brand deals, while the ones who were, let's say, just chilling in their beds, comfy, no makeup, just a bonnet on, like, their videos still did well, but they weren't really able to market themselves how the other people were able to get marketed. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, does that make sense? I hope it does, period. I also don't know if you remember the side profile challenge, because that went viral. What year did it go viral? I forget. And people were trying to see if their side profile matched some random standard of attractiveness. I didn't even know that this was something that people cared about until I stumbled upon it on TikTok. But honestly, there's a lot of things that I never knew were insecurities until I went on TikTok. So that's just how that damn app is made. Just to be like, yeah, you're ugly because your side profile is not exactly a right angle. So come get some Botox to fix that. Like, that's literally TikTok. But now my For You page is goated. Like, I have only good stuff on my For You page, so I'm blessed. But yeah, y'all need to fix up your For You pages so you don't see all this nonsense. But this whole obsession with facial symmetry and your side profile shows us how social media always loves to show us what we lack. If we never had social media, we would never know that Bella Hadid is considered the most beautiful woman in the whole world because she has the most symmetrical face ever. Even though Bella Hadid is absolutely gorgeous, I'm not letting a study that was conducted by a plastic surgeon tell me who the world's most beautiful woman is, because yeah, no. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, Bella Hadid was named the most beautiful woman in the world by the plastic surgeon Dr. Julian D. Silva, and he used the golden ratio of beauty pi. So I think it's pi or phi. You know what I mean? I'll put the text on the screen. And this is a concept that dates back to the European Renaissance. So according to his measurements, Hadid's face is 94.35% accurate to the golden ratio, which emphasizes symmetry and proportion. This analysis involved measuring different facial features and concluded that Bella Hadid is closest to the ancient Greek ideal of physical perfection. So as I said before, I do not care about this. Y'all can miss me with your Eurocentric beauty ideals. Like that. Girl, please. Social media definitely has a way of feeding us these so-called beauty facts, and these facts make us question our own appearance. And honestly, if we never heard about it in the first place, I'm sure we would have never noticed it in the first place. TikTok could probably do a lot more to curb these trends, but I feel like it puts money in their pockets, so they're not going to. But at least like we have the option of saying that we're not not interested in content. So if you keep saying that you're not interested in seeing certain beauty content, then eventually your For You page is going to normalize and it's not going to show you those type of stuff. But honestly, if a TikTok is really popular though, it's super hard to avoid it because a lot of TikToks, they're posted on TikTok, but then they get reposted to Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter. So if it's super popular, it's kind of hard to not see it. But at least you can try to fix your For You page and make it goated like mine. But anyways, let's see what you guys have to say about this. So I said, how do you feel about beauty filters on social media? So 5% said love them. I feel like people can use filters but not love them, but some people genuinely love them, so I guess that makes sense. Then 38% said they're okay, comme ci, comme ça. So I feel like that's the people who either don't necessarily love it but feel the need to do it just to look attractive on social media, or maybe people who appreciate the fact that they're there but they don't heavily rely on it. Then 26% said you don't like them at all. And you guys are probably very critical about the unrealistic expectations that these filters uphold. I've heard many stories where people take a photo of their face with a filter on, then they give it to their plastic surgeon and they're like, hey, make me look like this, but it's a filter, you know what I mean? So they want to look like the filter in real life. It's an unfortunate thing, but I mean, it does happen. But then 31% of you guys said, I avoid them. You're like, y'all don't fuck with them filters at all. I like the natural filters, I would say, like nothing too crazy. In a perfect world, would we have filters? You answer that question, let me know. So now while the inverted filter may not be trending like it used to, the obsession with facial symmetry still persists to this day, unfortunately. But just don't let these TikTok filters and rules and all this dumb stuff affect your perception of beauty in the end of the day. Because that's the most important thing that matters, your own perception of yourself. So let's fast forward to 2023, and there wasn't really any standout beauty trends that I could think of. Like there are little mini ones here and there, but nothing really substantial. But there was quiet luxury, fruit girl summer, latte makeup, skin streaming, skin flooding, underpainting, and also sunscreen contouring. They are not that interesting to me, like to go into depth, but I can still go over them briefly. So the quiet luxury aesthetic emphasized understated elegance, focusing on high quality materials and subtle style over overt branding. It was all about looking rich without the flashy labels, but as I mentioned, dressing rich doesn't guarantee actual wealth. I went into depth on this aesthetic in my You Hate Your Life Because You're Trying to Be an Aesthetic video, so feel free to check that out, period. Then we also had Fruit Girl Summer, and this trend was all about vibrant colors and fresh fruity looks, celebrating a playful and lively aesthetic. We had like Strawberry Girl Summer, Tomato Girl Summer, whatever. It was like those type of stuff, you know what I mean? Then also there was latte makeup, and this drew inspiration from warm, milky coffee shades, and this trend was focused on soft, bronzy tones for a cozy vibe. But low-key, the latte makeup trend is just what, like a soft glam, warm, bronzy look? You know, they just be making up random names on TikTok. Then we also had skin streaming versus skin flooding, and these two approaches centered around skincare routines, while streaming emphasized minimalism with multitasking products, while flooding, on the other hand, it emphasized layering ultra hydrating products for a maximum moisture. We also had underpainting and sunscreen contouring. Sunscreen contouring just sounds so weird, but it was a thing. So both of these techniques focus on a more natural radiant finish by applying products in a way that enhance the skin's natural beauty. So I never tried it, probably won't try it, but hey, it was a thing on TikTok. So while these trends were noteworthy, they didn't have the same effect that the previous ones had. So let's fast forward to 2024 and 2025, shall we? Part 3, 2024 to 2025, the search for authenticity. Let's take a moment to reflect on the beauty trends that shaped this year, and also let's make some predictions for 2025. TikTok is projected to surpass 2.1 billion users by 2025, indicating that the platform isn't going anywhere anytime soon. This means we can expect to see new beauty trends emerging from TikTok, potentially redefining how we perceive beauty. With TikTok's influence continuing to rise, it will be fascinating to see how beauty trends evolve in 2025. Anyways, let's get into it, y'all. But before we get into it, I want to see if you guys are good at predicting. So let's see what I asked you guys over on Instagram. So I said, do you think TikTok will continue to shape beauty standards in 2025? So 70% of y'all were like, absolutely, it's only getting bigger. That's true. Like this platform is gonna reach like what, 2 billion people. And the way TikTok has already influenced us to do so many stuff is crazy. Like the impact of TikTok it's crazy. Even if TikTok disappears, it's gonna be a big part of all of our lives. We're gonna look back and be like, damn, I remember TikTok. So yeah, I do agree with this answer. I do think that TikTok will continue to shape the beauty standards that we see moving forward. And then 21% of you was like, maybe other platforms platforms will rise too. And yeah, that's true. Instagram or YouTube, they're still major players, so they could impact beauty, but TikTok's format is really hard to replicate, so I don't know about that, but we'll see. And then 6% said no, trends will shift elsewhere, and 3% said not sure, I just enjoy the content. So fair enough. We gonna see who is right very soon. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for participating in these polls and making these videos interesting. I super do appreciate it. So if you want to be part of future discussions and possibly, appear in a video, feel free to check me out on Instagram. It's NK's World with 2 D's, not 1, 2, because one's not enough. I'm joking. It was a joke, y'all. It was a joke. Like, chill. It was a joke. Brother, Now, let's dive into the impact of TikTok on the beauty industry. And trust me, it's been nothing short of monumental. The platform has completely reshaped consumer behavior and sets new trends at lightning speed. With over 1 billion active users, TikTok isn't just leading in engagement. It's driving beauty trends that resonate on a global scale. According to Nick Voss, who is partner and creative director at Free the Birds, TikTok stands at the forefront of innovation across various sectors, especially beauty, due to its ability to create rapid trend cycles and foster engagement. In fact, beauty users on TikTok report a staggering 71% influence on their product choices, with many impulsively purchasing items after seeing them go viral in the TikTok made me buy it trend. And this just shows how powerful the platform is in shaping not only beauty standards, but also purchasing power, which is so important for brands. There are so many times where I've almost bought an item because a TikTok video made me want to buy that item. I actually haven't to this day. I am so happy that I have been disciplined to not buy anything from TikTok, but there has been many times when I was like, damn, like that item looks good, let me buy it. But because TikTok influences people to buy stuff, it also has an overconsumption problem, but that's a discussion for another day. So looking ahead to 2024 and beyond, we can expect some significant shifts in the beauty landscape, largely driven by TikTok's influence. Live shopping events on TikTok are on the rise, with brands like P. Louise and Made by Mitchell shattering sale records in mere hours. For instance, P. Louise recently became the first UK brand to make 1.5 million pounds, which is about 1.9 million US dollars. So a lot of money. And they made this money in about 12 hours during a live TikTok shopping event. So this highlights a new way for beauty brands to engage directly with consumers and drive impulse purchases, which is not good for us as the consumers. This interactive format is changing the game, allowing brands to showcase products in real time while connecting with their audience in a way that feels authentic and engaging and makes their pockets fat. Cha-ching! Moreover, TikTok is playing a crucial role in normalizing diverse beauty aesthetics, which is particularly fostering community engagement among younger users. This shift not only broadens the definition of beauty, but also creates a sense of belonging and support among users as they share their unique styles, whether it's being an e-girl or a clean girl. TikTok has definitely made progress in promoting diverse creators where it's not just one type of person that we're seeing, so they are doing a better job at doing that. However, these toxic beauty standards still continue to dominate. I don't know if it's gonna go away in 2025, probably not, but we'll see. So while diversity is improving, there is still a long way to go. However, there is a lot of uncertainty surrounding TikTok because they've been talking about banning TikTok in the US. And this would seriously affect the whole social media landscape because TikTok has been really popping off since 2020. Like they've been very influential. So to see it just get banned like that would be insane. And also it would definitely affect a lot of brands too and content creators themselves. There's a lot of people who rely on TikTok as a primary source of income. So that ban would not be good. I was talking to my friend about this and she thinks that Instagram might replace TikTok if TikTok ends up getting banned. And I don't know if that will happen because I feel like Instagram and TikTok are so different. I feel like it won't happen just because TikTok is really unique. If there was a social media app to replace TikTok, I think it would have to be a whole new app. I don't think Instagram, YouTube, or none of them, I don't think they can do it. But I hope that's not the case because I don't want TikTok to get banned. Because banning TikTok would definitely be a questionable move considering its vast user base and cultural impact. Many argue that it reflects broader tensions about data privacy and ownership, particularly since TikTok is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. This creates a narrative where naturally there's skepticism about a non-American company dominating a major platform in the US. Like y'all can't handle it, y'all are shaking in your boots. So right now, fingers crossed that TikTok does not get banned, let's hope not. It would definitely leave a huge gap that would be tough to fill. So the beauty standard on TikTok in 2024, it was simple, it was Ozempic. It was thin as in. On platforms like TikTok and other platforms as well, but mostly TikTok, influencers and celebrities, they were promoting weight loss drugs like Ozempic, and this drug is originally intended for diabetes treatment. With over 260,000 posts about it, these medications are now seen as quick fixes in the pursuit of an ideal body. I have a full video dedicated to Ozempic, so if you do want to know the full tea about it, feel free to check that video out. I'm not going to go super into depth, but it's a lot. But Ozempic is a medication that acts like a natural hormone called GLB-1, and this plays a key role in managing blood sugar levels. It stimulates insulin production when your blood sugar is elevated, curbs the release of girl, how do you say this? I'm gonna put the name right here because I don't know how to say it, but it curbs the release of this hormone that raises blood sugar and slows down the emptying of your stomach. So this combination not only helps keep your blood sugar in check, but it can also lead to weight loss by reducing your appetite and promoting a sense of fullness. I've been hearing so many things about Ozempic. I heard that they had a shortage, but I think the shortage is done. But I also hear that it's super easy for people to get their hands on it. And usually it's easy for the people who are trying to use it to lose weight to get it versus the people who actually need it. So that's a little bit concerning as well. And a lot of celebrities have been losing weight, and a lot of people suspect that it is Ozempic. I know Megan Thee Stallion lost weight, but I don't think she's on Ozempic though. Ice Spice recently lost weight as well, and people have accused her of using Ozempic. I believe her ex-friend actually. Yeah, her ex-friend accused her of using Ozempic. So we really don't know who is using it and who's not, but we do know that being slim thick or just being slim is the tea now. Like, people are starting to push that on us again. And because Ozempic is not cheap, I believe it's $1,000 a month with no insurance to get it. So because it's not cheap, a lot of people were creating this trend on TikTok called budget Ozempic because of the cost. For budget Ozempic, people turn to laxative and stool softeners instead of using the actual semaglutide, which is the active ingredient in Ozempic. And while this might result in short-term weight loss, the consequences can be severe, including dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, poor nutrition intake, and many more. While laxatives may offer a quick fix for temporary weight loss by flushing out water weight, they do not facilitate meaningful fat loss. So the allure of these alternatives often stems from misleading claims about detoxification and gut health, further complicating the issue. Research does indicate that laxative misuse is a long-standing problem, particularly among individuals dealing with disordered eating. Many mistakenly believe that laxatives can purge calories from their bodies before they are absorbed, which is actually not the case. By the time laxatives take effect, most calories from food have already been absorbed in the small intestine. Consequently, individuals may experience a temporary sense of emptiness or reduced bloating, but this is deceptive. Like, girl, just let that stomach bloat. Let it bloat, because bloating is natural. Point blank what? Point blank period. I haven't seen the budget Ozempic TikToks on my For You page in a hot minute, so let's hope that this trend is dying out. But I do believe that being slim with slight curves will continue to be popular in 2025. What do you think? Let me know. This year, the overarching theme seems to be about achieving a flawless yet natural look. So think radiant skin, soft blush, and subtle highlights that enhance rather than masking one's features. So this trend embodies a shift towards authenticity, where the goal is to appear effortlessly beautiful while embracing one's natural self, but only if you're pretty. Oop. But let me know your take on these evolving trends. So as we look forward to 2025, I feel like we're going to see more emphasis on sustainable beauty with products that focus on skin health and that are eco-friendly as well. Plus, I feel like the integration of wellness into beauty routines will encourage a holistic view of what it means to be beautiful, and I feel like we might see that in 2025. Just a prediction. I don't know. These are not facts. I'm just predicting this. Save this video so you can come back a year from now and see if I was right, period. Anyways, whatever new beauty standard or beauty trend is pushed on us in 2025, don't let it affect your perception of yourself. Point blank what? Point blank period. Okay? Because there's really no need to try to fit into it, because I assure you, by 2026, we're gonna have a new trend that's popping off. So girl, don't even stress yourself. Girl, boy, whatever, they, them, don't stress yourself. Anyways, thank you so much for making it to the end of today's video. I appreciate you so much. Anyways, don't forget to check me out on Instagram, NK's World with 2 Ds. Because one's not enough, period.
Boy, if you don't get...
Yeah, so you can be part of future discussions, and you can also check out my other videos that are similar to this topic and get the full tea. And yeah, so I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. So I'm gonna see you later though. Have a great rest of your day or night if you're about to go sleep. So bye. Deuces. It's gotten good to the point where on YouTube now we have to disclose if we use a nasty ass bug. Girl. Out my face. I'm gonna kill this bug right now, cause girl, get the fuck away. Damn, stupid ass bug. These fruit flies be trying me. Like, girl, where the hell's the fruit? I'm so confused where the fruit's at.